Living a dream.
It works. It'll always count down.
Fly to Vegas.
Once they're done.
What is it? Kenny Cheddar. Anniversary's Wednesday.
You're counting down.
43. They're going to hear 40 is flying out to Boston. I would fly out Wednesday. It's good. I won't get there. That's not. I'm sleeping in the airport. That's a hard flight. I really don't want to fly to Vegas.
It's tears. Okay. We're going to have a public hearing first. Number 1, adoption of ordinance number 4275, an ordinance to approve the annexation of parcel 3448800 for Brittany Point LLC, owned by Doug Diaz, being 55.14 acres, section 34-9-3, located on north side of Highway 30, currently addressed as 42320 LA Highway 30, Gonzales, Louisiana, 70737. Anyone wish to want to speak for it or against? Public hearing is now. Go ahead, Ms. Terry.
Randy Gotro.
Good afternoon. I want to thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. I have been a resident of Ascension Parish for my whole 73 years here, and I've seen the town of Gonzales grow from a small rural town to the present prosperous city we have today. I have seen past city councils and mayors progressively approve developments and businesses for this city to make it what it is today. I think this Brittany Point development will be a great asset for the city, not only in jobs, but in taxes to the city's coffers. I know that there's concerns concerning drainage to adjacent residents. I think if you check the developer's record, the Pelican Point Main Street development down 44, Pelican Point Commerce Center on 44, the Barringer Foreman Technology Park across from Klein Peter Farms in Baton Rouge. His recent development of Point Andrew in the city of Gonzales with over 100 homes, that he pays great attention to the effects he'll have on adjacent property and drainage. If you check his record and you check with his engineers that he's used in the past, he gives great attention to drainage and not affecting other people's property in an adverse effect. He's been a developer for, I don't know, 40, 50 years, I guess, maybe longer, probably longer than that. And he's always gave great concern. He's flooded. He had a house that flooded. I lived by him on Martin Road, and then, I don't remember the year it was, but his house flooded. I was lucky to keep the water out of my house. So not that he does have any experience with flooding and concerns about flooding to residents' house. So I would ask you tonight to approve this annexation to the city of Gonzales. I think it would be a great asset for our city. There's nothing currently in the city of Gonzales that would compare to this development. The city has no flex space, as it's called, or office warehouse buildings in the city limits. So I think this would be a great asset to the city, and I appreciate you voting in favor. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
James McAllister.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm here before you this afternoon to express some concerns. You know, I've been a resident of Pecan Grove subdivision for over 40 years. So during that time, I have seen a lot of issues with flooding, and I have some deep concerns. I recently sent all of the city council members an email detailing, a 2-page email, detailing my concerns. I also sent the mayor that too. So anyway, to get into that, due to the time constraints, I'll only be able to summarize those concerns. My first main concern is the stormwater runoff from property changes. I'm a retired professional engineer in Louisiana. During my 45-plus year career, I have performed numerous critical water balances for industry. South Louisiana typically receives more rainfall than evaporation. The changes for the future development of this property will probably have a negative impact on the stormwater runoff. There's going to be elevations that are going to be necessary. This is low-lying property. So, the high-level overview for the proposed retention pond is a gravity float in and out process. This is minimally effective, and for the surge of stormwater, because it's all at gravity levels. Unless you have a pump-in hole able to release it later, then that can be effective. This design does not currently incorporate that. I'm not sure that's legal, so at this point. I also want to say a Conway Plantation subdivision is a prime example of why gravity flow in and out retention ponds are not successful in reducing flood. Y'all are addressing that now. So, my second concern is the sewer channel. There are many unknowns here, and they need to just be fully assessed. In closing, I only ask that the city council to do what is in the best interest for the residents of Gonzales, especially those living in Pecan Grove subdivision. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
James Smith.
Good afternoon. Congratulations, we all made the wake-up list today. To God be the glory. My concern, and I heard the gentleman earlier mention something to the point of, I want to know what does concerns for the flooding of that retention pond looks like. And in annexing this thing in, I think retention ponds work as if in the form of almost like a dam. And there have to be a certain amount of upkeep. Now, I would want to know if there's something in place. Is there someone that goes by and they maintenance, they take care of these things to take care of the vegetation, to cut the grass, to grow it, and the threat of the mosquito buildup. I mean, there's a lot of things come off of it and sit in water, and there are some effects of odor, the air pollutants that may be there. So my concern, if allowed, if it does happen, Is there something in place in the city of Gonzales? Is there something in place that protects us? I live in that backyard. That's going to be right in the backyard there. So how deep is it? How does it work? So I think it's more to it than just that, than just putting a pond there. There are some things that comes along. It has to be safeguarded. There have been, in the past, there have been drownings that we've seen on television. I mean, things happen, but I want to know, what does protecting it and safeguarding the city, and if this is annexed, what does it look like? And how does it affect us? Do we have something in place, or if someone can give us something that shows that there is a regular maintenance plan to secure the citizens and to protect all those that are concerned? So I thank you for hearing my plea to protect what I cherish and feel value for me. Okay, I'm not trying to stand in the way of growth, but I want to make sure that everybody is covered in it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Joe Becker.
Good afternoon, and thank you for letting me speak. My name is Joe Becker. I live in Gonzales for the past 20 years. I support the Brittany Point annexation. I'm a real estate agent, fortunate to have so many of the 90 homes in Point Andrew subdivision developed by Mr. Diaz. In my years of selling these homes, there was never any issue with flooding. So I just wanted to make that point and thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Todd Peavy.
Thanks for your time. My name's Todd Peavy. I'm a lifelong resident of Ascension Parish, and for the last 25 years, I've been heavily involved in the same type of development that's being proposed here with a company that does it locally and all over the country. These are flex developments. They're very high-class, first-class developments that attract very professional tenants, ranging from local groups to Fortune 500 companies that come in from all over the country. This is a large-scale development and will probably cost somewhere in the neighborhood of $50 to $100 million, right? And so when you have something that's that size, it's very heavily regulated, not only by the city or the parish, but also by other stakeholders that are involved, people like lenders, insurers, all of those types of people. Those groups come in and make sure the development is well maintained for, in perpetuity. And as far as the drainage and the traffic stuff goes, I think that would be handled by your group. And these have always, the groups that develop these, ourselves included, have always taken very special care of drainage and traffic and have already been looking into those types of things. And so we would be willing to follow, I'm sure, whatever types of rules that you have as far as drainage go. But I'm in favor of the development, and I appreciate your time letting me speak.
Thank you.
Joel Robert.
Evening, Council. I'm Joe Robert. I'm a lifelong resident of Ascension Parish. Have several, or my family's involved in several businesses in the city of Gonzales. And it kind of brings up a point of two types of, I don't want to say two types, but two main characteristics that you can see in developers and in developers. You have your developers that do it because they're going to make a buck, which is fine. Not saying there's anything wrong with that, but that's their driving force. They get the plans, they get the balances, they get the numbers, and they move forward. But then you have developers that clearly take that into account, but they're trying to build something. They started out with a vision, and they're just as interested in building this and building for the community and adding something of value to that community to last as they are in making a buck. And my family has done the same thing with the storage in Gonzales, with the movie theater, with the bowling alley. Same thing that the Diaz's do as far as how they do work. They're around here, they're going to be around here, they've been around here before my lifetime and afterward. They like to have a reputation that precedes and follow up on that with their building. Now, I completely completely understand the concerns of drainage. You know, especially in Ascension Parish and South Louisiana, we're all very, we've got some recent memories, devastating memories of flooding. That's understandable. And I'm confident, because I've been working with Doug and I've worked with the engineer on this project, that regardless of the drainage and if anything does happen, this property and the property surrounding this property will be better off in any type of storm event as far as how it deals with the rainwater and containing rainwater. You know, with these ponds and these retention ponds, as long as it's done correctly and it's maintained correctly, you're going to have your 3 to 4 foot above the water table that's going to be drained immediately after a waterfall or anything to the nearest outfall. So that whole area that is built up is going to have any drainage go into that holding area, which will be free for that time. But in addition to that, it will also hold drainage and hold water from the area around. Because like people have said, it's been low property before, but it will be designed this way to where it can actually hold more and then release the water to empty and be able to accept more during a rainstorm. Thank you for your time. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Shane Morton.
Good evening. I appreciate your time. My name is Shane Morton. I am a lifelong resident of Ascension Parish, the owner of Prepara Lumber Company, which our family has been in that business for about 80 years now. And I just wanted to voice my opinion. It's for this development. I think any kind of development, especially a mixed use, is going to be good for tax revenues and jobs and just overall growth. I do understand the concern with the drainage, but I'm sure that that will be addressed as well. That's all I had to say, and thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Devin Graham.
Hey, I know I didn't dress for the part today, so I apologize for that. But I do want to start with, I think that what's important here is we're talking annexation. And why I think that's important is they're asking for y'all to bring them into the city, and they're asking for y'all to have control over them. I think that's a good gesture of willingness to work with the community. If I'm saying I can do this outside without you, but I want to be part of your community, we're not talking about approving the development today, in my opinion. It's annexation, correct? So I think that's a huge conversation to have today. We also seen that in the last few years they were trying to do the industrial part of Edenborn. Previous council, previous mayor did the zoning to change that. So you know there's a national need for this in this area. I don't think we're gonna lose opportunity. I don't think, as the city of Gonzales, my business is the city, I'm a real estate broker, I deal with this, I place people in their other buildings on Pelican, Commerce, and Main Street. I know this is gonna be needed in the city, and I think it's very important for y'all to be the voice to actually say what y'all want, what the citizens, the neighbors want, then to release it to the parish or whoever else from there. Again, going back to, this is needed here. You've seen it, Highway 30, look at how Highway 30's changed. The racetrack just moved in a big old flex space building. Imagine if we had that here, right here in the city, helping the city. Even better, helping Highway 30. They gotta put turn lanes in. They gotta put sewer in, they gotta put water, they gotta do things that is gonna be a positive for the city. My house in Point Andrew, I pay that water bill every month. This is going to be another way to generate revenue for the city, generate taxes, improve the city. So let's stay on the map. Let's not be a city that gets lost with the times, let's stay on the map. So I support it, I think it's fantastic. Nobody needs to talk about how good the developer is. We all know he's been around for 100 years. And I'm joking, but his grandfather and Shane, the families ran lumber through the city. His dad changed tires and oil for most people. He's not some guy from Baton Rouge coming down here, dumping a bunch of money and leaving. He'll be here, so, and his next generation too. So I hope y'all support the annexation, and then be able to control the development from there on.
Thank you.
Kip Hernandez.
Good evening. I thank y'all for your time to let me speak. You know, as a small business owner in Ascension Parish and a resident my entire life, I think it's important for everyone to recognize I came from, originally lived in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. And one of the things that moved me to Gonzales, or where we live now, is because of the progression, right? Better schools, better opportunities for entrepreneurs to come in, to be able to have a place in which is accepting growth and be proactive, right? So if I look back at my hometown to where the growth they have today versus Gonzales, I would prefer not for Gonzales to go backwards to where my hometown went, right? So, and I know there's some progression trying to happen there now, but it's 30 years behind. And I feel like an upscale business park is going to help the city continue growth and keep future leaders and our families here. So I'll explain that for a second. In my hometown of Donaldsonville, folks, kids didn't have any places to start a business, or the schools weren't good. They didn't want to send their kids there. So what they did was the kids moved out once they finished college. And now the parents have moved where the kids went, because guess what? That's where they're going to go. They're going to go follow their grandkids. They're going to go to those places that are being progressive and also, you know, being proactive, to have opportunities for jobs, to have good tax base, to have good schools. I feel like this annexation is going to help the city of Gonzales, not hurt it, because they're going to keep families and local business leaders and future business leaders here, and this can become a great place like many other cities around the country. To not allow this upscale business park would have families move out and seek other cities that are having those types of things. So I actually consider it heavily in terms of allowing the city to just to be annexed, because it's going to be a good thing, not a bad thing. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Skipper McGinnis.
Yes, I wanted to thank y'all for the opportunity. I first want to give a shout out and thanks to the City Council, the Mayor, both current and past, for creating a community. I've had the Country Kitchen here in town for the last 25 years, and we've been able to thrive because our streets are kept safe, our sewage and stuff is maintained, our fire department is kept up, which having a business that did once catch on fire, that's very important. And as I don't have to tell y'all, it does take money to bring our community into the light that it is in now. When I looked at this project, I do believe personally that it is a type of business that will not only bring in direct jobs in the construction, but also in the future, but also entice other businesses that need this type of facility to exist in the city. So I hope that y'all will be able to support it, and will be able to support the future and the growth of the city and nice development. Growth is always hard, but it must be smart. And I do believe this is a smart growth. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Paula Cartwright. First name is James. I cannot read the handwriting on the last name. James Falgout. Sorry about that.
I have to print and I still can't read my own handwriting sometimes. So James Falgout with Earls and Associates. I'm a resident of Ascension, City of Gonzales, and a business owner for almost 20 years here. And for this development, I think it's a great asset for the community. Some of the concerns one of the residents of Pecan Grove said was the maintenance of the detention area. That would be the sole responsibility of the developer to maintain that. That is, the city will not be responsible for anything to do with that development. The developer has to maintain that. If you're familiar with any of Mr. Doug's projects in Ascension Parish, he does over-engineer these projects. There's usually never any impact to surrounding properties. He contains it. He contains adjoining properties' water detention into his property as well before it recedes out to the, I think it would be Bayou Francois in this instance. What we're asking for approval tonight is to bring this into the city so you have control of what happens there. We're not asking for approval of the subdivision or the development yet. We're just asking for you to approve the annexation into the city so you have control of what happens on that property. And then from there, you know, your engineer has to review the drainage plans, your city council has to approve it, your planning commission has to approve the future plans of it. So this way it gives us control of what happens there. As if aware, the parish is doing a whole bunch of drainage projects throughout the parish, and this is not one of them. So by bringing this into the city and forcing Mr. Doug to develop this property, not forcing him, but offering him a chance to develop this property, you have to approve the drainage plan. So that way drainage improvements does get complete in this area. Without that, it could be 10, 15 years before the parish even gets to fixing Pecan Grove area. So this speeds up the process and should help the area. So I'm asking you for approval.
Thank you.
Al Robert. Al Robert.
Good evening. Hello, Council. Congratulations on being up there. Anybody who knows Doug knows the type of buildings and the type of work that he does. Doug has been a resident his whole life in this area. I've known him since he was a kid and I was a kid. Whatever he does is done first class. There's no skipping. We own 20 acres adjacent to his warehouse in St. John Properties. And I know he's been working for 2 or 3 years to add on in the back. And he's had numerous dealings with engineers and stuff to get things right. And whatever he does is going to be done right. And he lives here. He knows everybody in this area. So I would hope that you allow him to annex the property into the city. He does a good job. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Marie Neal. Ms. Neal is passing.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's it on agenda item number 1 and 12. That's 4.
Okay, if that's all, we're gonna close the public hearing. We have a card for agenda item number 9. With that being said, no one else needs to speak against or for? All right, we're gonna close the public hearing. Okay, we're gonna do our invocation, pledge allegiance, and roll call.
Everyone stand, bow your heads. Dear Lord, we'd like to thank you for this day. Thank you for allowing us to gather here to conduct city business. Please give us the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding to move the city in the right direction. I pray that you continue to watch over the police and fire department, the city employees, and all the citizens of Gonzales. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Ms. Terry, roll call.
Here.
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 Number 5, approve the minutes of a public hearing of the mayor and city council taken on Monday, May 12, 2025.
I'll make a motion to approve.
A second.
Have a motion and a second. Roll call vote.
Councilwoman Terry? Yes. Yes. Councilman Williams?
Yes.
Councilman Boudreaux?
Yes.
Councilwoman Cynthia Gray-James?
Yes.
Councilman Turner?
Yes.
Number 6, approve the minutes of a regular meeting of the mayor and the city council taken on Monday, May 12, 2025.
Motion to approve. I'll second it.
Okay, roll call vote. Councilwoman Lambert?
Yes.
Councilman Williams?
Yes.
Councilman Boudreaux?
Yes.
Councilwoman Cynthia Gray-James?
Yes.
Councilman Turner?
Yes.
Number 7, approve the minutes of a public hearing of the mayor and city council taken on Tuesday, May 27, 2025.
I move to approve.
A second.
Roll call vote. Councilwoman Lambert?
Yes.
Councilman Williams?
Yes.
Councilman Boudreaux?
Yes.
Councilwoman Cynthia Gray-James?
Yes.
Councilman Turner?
Yes.
Number 8, approve the minutes of a regular meeting of the mayor and city council taken on Tuesday, May 27, 2025.
So move. Second.
Roll call vote, Councilwoman Lambert,
Yes.
Councilman Williams,
Yes.
Councilman Boudreaux,
Yes.
Councilwoman Cynthia James,
Yes.
Councilman Turner.
Yes.
Okay, on item number 9, agenda item 9, we have a speaker, Ms. Jackie Tisdale. If anyone else wants to speak for this item or against it, this is the time. You can fill out a card and you're welcome to speak.
Good evening. I'm Jackie Tisdale. I'm the Director of Communication for Central Public Schools. I'm here representing Superintendent Walker. Just wanted to say that we are very much in support of any opportunities for our kids. These summer camps are really fantastic. But I do want to be clear that there is no official partnership between this camp and the school system or our schools. But we are very much excited about the opportunity for our kids.
Thank you, Ms. Jackie. Anyone else cares to speak for this item or against? Okay. Give her a card, Miss. You have one? All yours.
Okay, good evening. My name is Trinice Fobb, and I am the actual founder and director for Hands and Hearts LLC, which is the organization that is actually putting on the 2025 summer camp for the students and the teachers here in Gonzales, Louisiana. This particular company or organization developed based on the experience of me working in the school system for the year 2024-2025 here at Gonzales Primary. While being there, there was a lot of observation and a lot of discussion in regards to the needs of the children here in the city, along with the parents and the teachers wanting to be able to collaborate and wanting to be able to find a solid foundation for these children to not only be in a camp that was actually educational, but being involved in a camp that along the way would still be substantial in having certain amounts of fun. So everything that was planned out was planned through educators or through individuals that have worked for Kelly Education in the school system. Like the previous lady said, this is not a collaboration with the school board, but this is something that is not only helping the teachers or the paraprofessionals that normally would work outside of what their regular profession is in order to gain additional revenue while being out of school. So the decision did come forth where we would decide to do the summer camp. And initially it was not to be hosted in any city facility. Unfortunately, due to some conversation where it was to previously be held, there was the speculation of the possibility of that particular location moving. So then at that time, we then did the research on trying to find somewhere where we could still accommodate the parents and the children from the city of Gonzales in order for them to have such a successful opportunity, not only be successful, but be affordable, be something that these children could be involved in from the hours of 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. every day. Camp itself is only from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. daily. That means that they can arrive as early as 7 a.m. and they'll be fed breakfast, and they have the opportunity to come as late as 9 a.m. for camp only. They will then be served a snack and a balanced lunch that's in accordance with the guidelines of the state of Louisiana's nutrition board.
Thank you, ma'am.
I have a question, Ms. Fogg, before you sit down. It's okay to ask a question now?
Yes.
Okay, you're up for a public-private partnership with the city of Gonzales.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, hands and heart. Okay, this is my first time hearing of this. Of your organization? Okay, and I know you're supposed to be over in the Civic Center. That was your advertisement?
Yes, ma'am, it was.
And everything for the Civic Center?
Correct.
Okay, your teachers, you have qualified teachers, certified teachers?
Yes, ma'am, we do.
From Ascension, they're retired teachers or just regular teachers?
No, ma'am. Everyone that is currently employed with us or currently in education at this moment. No one is retired. And we do have paraprofessionals. Also, we do have individuals that have been trained and certified through Kelly Education and have been on long-term assignments in the school system.
Okay, because I received your information in the booklet, but it didn't have any information concerning the personnel or anything like that. It was just general information.
That is correct. And the reason being is because we did not, like the previous lady stated, this is not a partnership with the education department or the school board. So within the handbook is basically based on the business. It's not based on the staff, but the staff is all educators. And that's why we advertised it as educators, because educators are the ones that are familiar with what the children need, how to handle day in and day out situations with the children, and still be able to perform not only an educational experience for the children, but still be able to identify the needs of what these children also are inquiring about, which means that during this camp, these children have the opportunity to get not only the fun part, but there is a form that each parent fills out if they're wanting their child to be tutored. They have the opportunity to have tutoring that goes on in an individual or group setting based on the subject. The parent chooses the time, the amount of time that the child gets, how often the child gets the tutoring per week. All of that is included within the rate that they're actually paying. This is not anything that is even though it's a public business, what this business is doing is that it's giving the teachers the opportunity to not only have a second job, but it's giving them the opportunity to have a second job in what they're qualified to do and still be able to have that time with their families and their children. If they have children that are of age in attending camp, they are attending camp and they are being taken care of as any other camp attendee, but that particular education professional does not have to pay for camp. That is the reason why that information is not in the handbook, because anything that would have been placed in the handbook in reference to these people being employed or being educators and still currently being a part of a Central Parish School Board, that meant that handbook would have then had to go up for approval with the school board first.
Okay, my question is, you have a public-private partnership with the city. How would the city benefit? That's what I'm trying to get out.
Okay, so the city will benefit from...
I know you're gonna be charging the kids, what, $150?
That is correct.
Okay, so the city is not receiving any funds. The funds are gonna go directly to your hands and hearts.
And hearts, correct.
Okay, but you come in partnership with the city.
Okay, so the reason that the rate is what it is, and there is statistics that show that right now there is nowhere in Gonzales for any individual under the age of 5 and up to the age of 11 to go that is a safe environment or anything that is capable of being able to extend to them education. Everything that this program is putting on actually has a rate behind it. These teachers and these educators are needing to get paid. They're getting paid weekly. There is the bookkeeping firm that is actually keeping the books of this actual organization. There is the general liability that is needing to be paid on a daily basis because...
I understand that. How can the city benefit is what I'm asking.
Okay, so in my outlook, and the educator's outlook is that if we're doing something within the city of Gonzales where the predominantly 60% of Gonzales in the city is African American. When you look at the statistics of Gonzales Primary, Carver Elementary, and Pecan Grove, the census there for those children is very high. When you sit and you look at their scores, we see that there is a need. So it's not only a need for the people to have a place to work, it's also a need and a benefit for the individuals that reside in the city, have somewhere for their children to go that's affordable, but being able to give them something in return. We as the city, we don't have that. We don't have a facility. There's no such events that go on as a summer camp if it's not a private entity. I just took the step forward after being involved with the church that was no longer being able to house us. I took the step forward to make the request to have this meeting to see if this partnership will then allow a better benefit for our kids that reside in the city.
Okay, I understand that, but I'm still not
Financially, there will not be a benefit. There will not be a benefit financially to the city. The city will then be giving a benefit to the young individuals that right now are not having anywhere to go and are not being able to produce the scores that other areas in Ascension Parish are able to do so.
Okay, because I'm aware of the program that the school system have. That's why I was wondering about this program.
But for that program, there are stipulations. Not every child that goes to public school is allowed to be in those programs that are currently being offered, where those children are being picked up. Those children are either inclusion, they're on an IEP, or they are in some form of a disability. Now, we do have one child that is autistic that is in our program. His mother was expected to be here to speak on today because their doctor suggested that they find an organization that he could be in that would keep him in line, not only by education, but being able to be flexible in his abilities. I have another parent that's here that has 4 children that had nowhere for those children to go until she actually contacted us about the program that we were going on with. Remember, initially, we were not even considering coming to the city because we were just wanting to do this in order to keep these children abreast on what's going on within the education system in order for us to be able to provide them not only with a fun factor, but with an educational one as well.
Okay, I understand that. Legally, I guess I need to ask Mr. Allen. Legally, can the city, this is going to be legal? You know, it won't be any problem for, on the exit line for the city?
From my understanding, the benefit that Ms. Fobb is articulating is the benefit of continuing to educate the children during the summer. Whether or not the council approves the public-private partnership will be left up to the council to approve.
Yeah.
But based upon her articulation of the benefit, there's no financial benefit to the city, but rather just educating and benefiting the children of Gonzales.
And the facility, she would be using the city facility.
Correct.
And what that runoff rate would the facility be used?
I'm sorry?
The rental rate of the facility, at what rental rate is the facility being used? Because if it's a public partnership, then I know by the, I guess Jason could help me out with the answer on that for when people rent the Civic Center or any of our other buildings. I know if you're a nonprofit, it's a certain rate per day, and if you're not a nonprofit, it's another rate per day. And I know in the packet, we don't have anything. Now, we got your information for the camp, but in the packet, we don't have anything for as a public-private partnership rolled out. Just saying what's the rate, obviously the buildings, Gonzales Civic Center, but we don't have the rate, what's being charged, or anything of that nature.
Yeah, because I wasn't under the assumption, I didn't know the city had a partnership with you ahead of time. You know, you had publications out, I was getting phone calls, and I couldn't answer the questions. And I guess it was just lack of information.
I don't think that it was a lack of information. I think it was a lack of communication.
Because on the part of the city council, as a city council, I had no knowledge.
Okay, but
so that's what I'm saying.
On my behalf.
Normally, you come before the city council and we do our approval for this.
Okay, I understand exactly what you're saying, and I'm one to follow the guidelines from front to back. Everything that I did and everything that I was requested to do before actually even the partnership being brought to me, I submitted all that information to Ms. JC. Ms. JC then in turn contacts me on the Friday before camp was to start that Monday to inform me that there was some questions and some concerns that needed to be addressed. Prior to that conversation on Friday, I've received a contract in reference to what my dollar amount was going to be for this particular event. The partnership then came about after Ms. JC informed me that it was going to have to become a part of the agenda for today's council meeting. Other than that, there was no indication and no information given to me that specified anything otherwise but to continue to move forward with your literature, your advertisement, and to get this done.
So you're saying you have a contract, you're saying?
I have the original contract, yes ma'am.
Who is it from?
It's from JC.
It's from Jason?
Yes ma'am.
Okay, and it consists of?
It consisted of what the conversation was based on, what dollar amount was going to be paid in the month of July and the month of August. All of that was in the contract. The only stipulation that was that we were waiting on was for me, in order for me to get the general liability, I'm not getting the general liability as a continuous event. I'm getting the general liability based on a daily rate of the general liability because it's a camp. So because it was the Civic Center and because it was for the city of Gonzales, I had to get the policy for the month of June and then one for the month of July.
I'm gonna cut you short so they can move on. I guess it's just a lack of information for some of us.
I mean, and I do apologize for that, but that lack of information is not my fault at all. That lack of information came from within the city of Gonzales, and that started with the information that I gave Ms. JC at the Pace Center. Otherwise, if my contract wouldn't have gotten denied because of appointment and conflict of schedule, that contract would have been signed.
Okay, I understand.
Who authorized the fee? Okay.
That would be a question that you would have to ask Ms. JC. I was only issued a contract that was ready to be signed.
How much is the fee?
I will let Ms. JC speak to that.
You don't know?
I mean, I do know, but the things that you're asking me now is not in reference to me being a city employee.
I'm only asking, I'm not trying to cause any confusion. I'm only asking because I do not have the information.
Okay, so what I'm saying is that Ms. JC is the one that wrote the contract up based on our conversation and the information. So I would rather that the discussion about the contract and everything else moving forward, besides what you asked me in reference to the benefits of the city from the camp, all of those other questions then goes back to the city. That doesn't go back to me as being the person that actually is putting the event on.
Yeah, I just wonder how it all got started.
Okay, so
ahead of time prior to it.
I mean, as far as I know, I did everything according to what I was requesting.
Okay.
So, I think what she's trying to say is, where did we come from? How do we,
Get here.
who gave you rates? Because only the council can adjust rates on the Civic Center, if I'm correct?
Correct.
JC? But I'm trying to see where the contract came from. I know you bring them, not approve them, but you write them.
Jason. Yeah.
Who?
Who are you talking to?
I'm talking to Jason.
Okay, come to the podium.
Yeah, if you want to, Ms. Jason, you can.
Well, I'm just curious. I mean, we got questions. I mean, this is the first we've heard of it. And I understand what Ms. Cynthia is saying. We need to know, how did we come to where we at?
I'm going to ask
I
Ms.
don't know.
Renita Claiborne to come up here as well. The first time I spoke with the client was, what's today? Was Tuesday the 24th. Do you want to start? Do you want to start?
I can start. Good afternoon. My name is Renita Claiborne. JC and I were originally going to put on a summer camp, a 2-week summer camp that the city was going to sponsor. And it was going to be fun, but it was going to be educational too, because like she said, I'm an educator. 20 years in Florida, 12 years at Gonzales Middle School. And yes, the kids in the city of Gonzales are behind. We're behind. Yes, Ascension Parish is an A, but not Gonzales Middle, not Harbor. Not, our kids needed this, and I support it. But in any event, we were going to, the city was going to hold camp. Then Ms. Fobb decided she wanted to hold camp, which was in line with what we wanted to do.
I can pause you on that real quick?
Yes.
With the city wanting to do a camp, was that camp was gonna be, or the city was gonna sponsor the camp per se? Was the camp gonna be free of charge to the kids?
No. It was as a matter of fact, it was the same price she's charging. We were not, it was not gonna be free of charge for the city.
Yeah. We just
And it was-
saying, we just didn't see the amount, the
The amount
contract,
in the
or
lease
nothing like
agreement
that.
was $300 per month. That is the amount that I was under the impression.
So is that-
We confirmed that with the client on Tuesday. I did send the lease agreement. She's absolutely right. I did send the lease agreement when I received, when she was gonna come in that Thursday. I just had a different feeling about it, and I called the mayor to triple check that that is something I was allowed to countersign because that is outside of my normal scope. And that is when we started having more questions, and we had spoken with Ms. Fobb that Thursday afternoon because we did know that her camp started on Monday. And so that's the lease agreement. The lease agreement was not countersigned. I did not countersign the agreement.
So you're saying that the price was $300 a month? That's what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah,
What
that
is the
was what
amount?
was provided to me, yes.
So you're charging $300 a month?
That was the price provided to me.
Who provided that information to you for the $300 a month?
So Ms.
Me.
Renita let me know that was the
She
price.
got the price from me because I got the price from Ms. Fobb that she said she had got.
And this is for the Gonzales Civic Center?
Yes, ma'am.
That goes for $1,200
But it was going to be
a
in
day?
partnership with the city.
And that's for two months?
Not exactly. There were events that were going on at the Civic Center. She was not going to be there those days. So it's not it's not every single day at the Civic Center. There are days that she was not going to be there because of a wedding or something else that could not be canceled. And she knew that, and she was okay with that. So it wasn't the whole month of July, am I correct? It's 36 days. It was a total of 36 days, yes.
We just asking the questions to make sure stuff is legal. We don't want to get in trouble for anything of that nature.
Yeah,
And
that's
I
what
know-
I'm trying.
And I know with a public-private partnership, like, I know about ordinance and stuff that we have, or the rental agreement fees that we have is like non-profits are $800 per day, and if you're not a non-profit, it's $1,200 per day. So for me, it's for anybody that can't come before us, for it being $300 for a month,
But does
that's a substantial.
But does the benefit for the city have to be financially? I mean, this is something that our kids need. This is something that our kids need, and you can't put a money amount on it. I taught Eureka math, and it's not easy.
My thing was saying being legal. So I'm not an attorney, so I can't say that it's legal or not. That's the question why we're asking them.
Well, we got city
I
attorney
can
right
only
there.
speak to what I know, and that
Okay.
is, we raised the red flag, so.
Can I ask, Attorney Davis a question? Does the benefit have to be financially?
My understanding in the reading of the statute, it does not have to be financial only. What was articulated to me was that the benefit to the city was the continuing education of the children in the summertime, giving them a safe place to go in the summer, where they can be safe and also in a learning and a fun environment. So that was the benefit that was articulated to me. I do believe that based upon the benefit articulated, that it does fit within the scope of the statute.
It's a good program. I'm just saying that, when we have something this important, we need to know about it ahead of time.
Yeah, we need it.
You know, this was put out all in the city before we know anything. I had several phone calls. I didn't have the answer for the people that was calling me. My phone was blowing up. You know, I'm meeting people. I don't know what to tell them. I'm asking questions, and, you know, y'all, in other words, y'all was proceeding on to do the work, but we didn't know anything about it. And I'm not being petty or anything like that, but like I say, anytime the city is involved, we need to know.
Understandable.
I still think the partnership, I think what they're trying to do is great for the community, but the city's never partnered in a private partnership like this before and let them use city facilities.
Can that be
But what they're using right now, it was advertised June 1st, I believe it was open.
We got one with the chambers, Kurt.
Yeah, but I'm talking about
Yeah.
this type of thing.
And with the Rotary, Chambers Club.
I understand, yeah. But I'm talking about this is different.
So we got several of them out there.
It's
Where?
different.
Partnerships.
With the
But
chamber
this is,
benefits the
this
city.
is, who's responsible? Like, you got liability insurance, you got, this should have been brought to us 2 months ago, where we could have discussed it, you know. And I'm just asking questions like, our liability standpoint, I understand the need for the children in the city, I do. I know how the schools are rated, I know all of them are
Yeah.
not good, but our point with the city council is we need to know this way before, in like the contracts, adjusting rates. It just,
I know you said $300, I know, like, so, again, just asking a question. So are you authorized to, per se, if somebody comes to us with a idea or partnership, are you authorized to change the
Not
price?
me.
So who told you that you could put it at 300?
I got it from her, whoever.
I'm trying to figure out where the 300 coming from, though. That's my thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out too.
Like, if you go on our site, it's $800 for nonprofits, $1,200 for businesses. So if she has a $300 rate per month, that had to come from someone. So I'm trying to figure out who authorized the $300 prior to that coming to us tonight. And just like he said, the camp been going on, so conversations had to happen prior to tonight. So what I'm trying to figure out is who authorized the $300. We're trying to make sure everything is done good and in order. So who authorized? I just want to know who authorized the $300 because she has to get a number from someone. Now, if you're not authorized,
I didn't authorize.
Councilman
if
Tower.
you're not authorized to do it, then
Yeah, Councilman Tower. As of right now, there's no financial money on the table for the center. We were gonna,
so what are $300?
the economic benefit from it, we were gonna allow them to use the center for our kids of Gonzales.
So why are we
As of right
discussing-
now, there's no money on
So
the
why are we
table.
discussing the $300? Where
Yeah,
is that
no
coming
money is on the table. Yeah,
from? Okay, so who said
Yeah.
prior to this meeting? Then,
right.
who mentioned to them that they'll have the facility for free?
We were just
Yeah.
talking about
No, I know.
numbers.
By the
We're talking
private
to the mayor,
partnership.
talking to the mayor now.
By
So-
the private partnership,
So you
that's
told
how
them-
we came up with, we're not gonna charge because the city now would be a partner with
So you
them.
told them that.
The city is gonna be a partner with them, and the economic benefit is for the city kids, the kids that live in the city of Gonzales.
So you made the decision
Yeah.
for us that we had to vote on.
That's how our private partnership kind of work. we were gonna then be a part of it. Yeah.
What I would suggest is that that you allow me to take this under advisement and issue a memo to both the mayor and the city council on the legality of the public-private partnership between the city and Hands and Hearts. I can get that to everyone by the end of the week for their consideration. I think based upon the questions that the council has asked, I think there may be some more research that needs to go into this before a vote can happen. So my suggestion would be to let me take this under advisement, get a report or a memo out to the council and the mayor on my position as to whether or not this public-private partnership, number one, is can be moved forward in this manner, and number two, to articulate the benefit, if any, that the city would derive from such partnership.
Also, go back to Ms. Trent, would you be, if another builder or another place came available, would you be opposed to having it somewhere else or anything of that nature?
Okay, so after the situation actually took place on Friday, the meeting took place in reference to the council needing to be aware of what all was going to take place. The fire chief of Gonzales has extended the public safety building to us, and that's where we've been. However, again, that has then now caused another situation because the information, the way it was placed out on the platform from the city of Gonzales, social media information and those so on and so forth, they made it with the understanding that we were only there until last Friday, and that it said the week of June 2nd. So this morning, you still had people confused on where they needed to be because they went there or they registered according to the information that was publicized, not on my behalf, but on behalf of the city, which was done by Ms. JC. We're comfortable with where we are now. The only issue with that is that there is events to take place at the Public Safety Center on behalf of the fire department. So they understood it to be a temporary thing. Where we're located is not an issue. The issue is that the children are our concern. Anything else beyond that scope, we're not here to fight. We're not here to cause any type of disgruntledness, misinformation, anything of that nature. Everything that I turned over, or when this all got started, as you all can see and read, this didn't happen overnight. What happened is that we came across a hump, and in order to get beyond that hump, we were asked what else we could do. These suggestions got brought to our attention, not us asked, could we have these things at no charge, or we asked what could be done. That was it. So us advertising, us doing what we did that all with approval. Nothing that we did was under the scope of not being approved by someone involved with working with the city of Gonzales.
But
As a sitting council, we just saying, we were not approved. We didn't have
100% understand exactly what you're saying. But I needed to just make that
I want to
clear.
make one thing clear. Anytime you come in before the council, we have to be advised. You know, I'm trying to make it short.
Councilman James,
we have to be advised of anything.
I want you to understand that
before.
This business and us as the educators were never informed that we needed to come before the council. We would not operate so recklessly to not bring something that's so needed without making sure every T was crossed and every I is dotted. And one thing that I'm not going to do is I'm not going to stand here and take full accountability for what something or someone in the city did, because my name is on the line of this. And at the end of the day, this is still a business. And in order for me to be able to hold up to my reputation and hold up to the reputation of the parents and the teachers that are actually involved in this, I'm not going to say that this is my fault.
We understand that. What we're saying is, we are concerned because the city name is on it, and we're just trying to get the clearance of it.
I
And
understand what you're
I
saying
think we have it
100%.
from you. I think we have it from you, okay? And we'll clear that out among ourselves.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mr. Trent,
We're gonna have to move on, y'all.
I got one more.
This is a lengthy, item. We're gonna have to move on.
I just got one question
Yeah.
to ask you. Could I ask,
We-
are you opposed to moving to a different building? I had somebody reach out to me, and I talked to him for a little bit. So if you were open to moving to another building, Mr. Sheba York LeBron, that own Triple Threat Dance Studio, she reached out to me, she offered her building up if you wanted to.
Okay, so one of my biggest concerns is that I don't have any opposition about moving. I have an opposition about being within the city of Gonzales. Because that is for these parents, that means that that location would then take them out of the spectrum of where they're able to be.
Thank you, ma'am. Number 9, approval to enter into a public-private partnership between the City of Gonzales and Hands and Hearts LLC to adopt a to host a summer camp at the Gonzales Civic Center to benefit elementary age students in Gonzales.
I think we need a motion from the council.
Yeah. We got a motion and a
I
second?
want to know, we need to be, we wasn't made aware of this in time for me to make a decision on this tonight. I mean, we
No one.
should have been informed for this way before this.
Do we
I'm
have
just
to-
saying, as a government, as a council to the city, and our obligation as a city, we have to approve all this. This saying that someone in the city did this, it has to come to us before we can make an honest decision on this.
Councilman Boudreaux, can you make
I'll
a
make motion
recommendation?
to deny it,
Go ahead.
because I can't vote for this tonight.
Okay.
I'll second.
All right, we got a motion and a second. Roll call vote, Ms. Terry?
Councilwoman Lambert,
This is a motion to deny?
Yeah.
Yes.
Councilman Williams,
No.
Councilman, Boudreaux,
Yes.
Councilwoman Cynthia Gray James,
Yes.
Councilman Turner.
Yes.
All right. Number 10, adopt a resolution of the City of Gonzales to adopt the Ascension Parish Hazardous Mitigation Plan, updated 2025.
I'll make a motion to adopt.
All right.
Is this a new plan?
No, no,
Is it
this.
same plan?
Do I have a motion and a second?
We do that.
All right, roll call vote, Ms.
We do that. with Parish.
Yes.
No changes?
Yes.
Councilman Boudreaux,
Yes.
Councilwoman Cynthia Gray James,
Yes.
Councilman Turner.
Yes.
Okay, on number 11, we're gonna revisit it on June 23rd. So I'm gonna go to final vote on number 12.
You have to make, if you're gonna amend them,
It's just an introduction.
you need to make a motion.
No,
to
no,
amend.
not for introduction.
So,
Yeah. Number 12,
hold up, to change anything on the agenda, we
Yeah, then make a
gotta make a motion to amend.
it's just an
it.
introduction, T-Man.
But you're amending them,
You're changing the
you're
agenda.
amending the agenda, so you need to make a motion to.
We're not
amend-
amending it because it's an introduction.
No, the agenda. We have to make a motion to amend the agenda.
Since it's on the agenda by law, we have to amend, since it's on the agenda, it's on paper, so we have to, if we don't vote on it, or not vote on, we don't introduce it or talk about it, then we have to make an amendment to take it off.
The same introduction is gonna be on June 23rd.
So to
Yeah,
clarify.
and then we're gonna make the changes, yeah.
So to clarify, the motion that needs to be made is not a motion to amend the budget. The motion is to amend the agenda to remove it from the agenda item so that you can proceed with the rest of the agenda.
Okay, give me a motion.
A motion to.
I would like to introduce the budget just so we can keep police and fire go with their proposed budget on the general fund budget so we can fund them in 2 weeks. And
So you want to change it to, you want to change it for the public, you want to introduce the budget for the public safety instead of the general. Well, I'll make a motion to agree
for
with it.
fire and police, to go with fire and police.
You can't just move past it without making a motion
I don't think you can do that.
agenda.
I don't think you can do that.
can do change it in the introduction.
Just to take them off and add them on.
Just to fund the police.
So change it, it comes up for vote next month.
So you made a motion to introduce the public safety for the police and fire
Yeah.
department budget?
Huh?
I second that.
Yeah, I knew you can't do that.
You can pass on it.
Yeah,
Oh, Mr. Attorney.
You know, the motion to introduce is not introduced.
Yeah.
But you can introduce an amended budget.
correct,
This will clear Jacob's issue with this in the first place.
exactly.
Is Mr. Jacob here?
We
Is
can
Mr. Wagner
introduce
here?
it- We can introduce the general fund the budget,
You can't do it.
and we'll leave it, and we'll make the adjustments in 2 weeks. We'll make the adjustments on administration and everything in 2 weeks. That way we can fund police.
Yes, sir, go ahead.
What Jacob had, I thought we'd all agreed in conversations that Jacob, Senator and Jacob, we're gonna be having meetings on the 18th and the 20th.
Right.
Hopefully come to something like a consensus, and you make the changes, introduce whatever, that change budget on the 23rd. That still gives you time to do the notice requirement and vote on it on July 14th. So,
Yes.
in anticipation of those meetings we're
Well, we
talking
can
about.
still introduce the general,
But
and
you-
go with public safety.
You can. You can either introduce that budget that's on the agenda or not.
You're right, yeah, you gotta do the whole thing.
I know,
Okay.
but basically what I want to do for it is we'll make it publicly known for public safety, you know?
You gotta do the whole thing.
Got to do the whole budget.
I introduce the whole thing, and we'll
Yeah, you can,
Adjust
you
it.
can also introduce it and then come back on the 23rd, introduce a different one. I don't think
Yeah.
there's any legal prohibition against that.
Correct.
Right.
that way we can.
But other than confusion.
No, you don't vote on it tonight. So there's no vote tonight. It's just an introduction of the ordinance.
All right.
Which I was saying the whole time, yeah.
No, what am I saying?
We good, we good.
Oh, good?
Yeah.
Okay. So is he here to introduce the budget?
No, he's not here.
Okay.
No. Okay.
So,
Introduction of the fiscal year 2025-2026 general fund budget. We're gonna pass on it until the 23rd, or y'all wanna introduce it tonight?
It's just an introduction, that's all.
All right,
We'll just leave it like
well, it's gonna be an introduction then. Okay, thank y'all.
are we introducing it today?
Yes, I have. I read it, yeah. Which I was saying the whole time.
A council member has to. make-
No, it's the introduction. Yeah. Number 12, final vote on ordinance number 4275, an ordinance to approve the annexation of parcel 3448800 from Brittany Point LLC, owned by Doug Diaz, being 55 acres, 55.14 acres, section 34-9-3, located on north side of Highway 30, currently addressed as 42320 LA Highway 30, Gonzales, Louisiana, 70737.
Mr. Diaz here tonight?
Oh, we got,
I want to ask a question before I
so the
vote.
final vote, we don't have to make a motion, just roll call vote, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you're here for approval of the annexation.
Yes, ma'am.
My question to you is, on that lot number 3448800 for Brittany Point LLC, owned by you, Mr. Doug Diaz, 55.14 acres. Have you done anything to upgrade the drainage on that property?
we've done a topo with Earl and Associates, and we've hired quality engineers to do research on it. But basically, once it's annexed and once you file for development, it's a very extensive research that's going to be done regarding studies at that time. But yes, we have been studying the property for 2 to 3 years.
That's not my question. I say, have you done any work on the property?
No, ma'am. And
Okay, so no drainage work has been done on the property at all?
we would have
Okay.
to have that approved by city engineers, by parish engineers, and we have to follow protocol. But no, ma'am, we haven't done it.
Okay, and you're aware that it's low, wetland? It's
Yes,
low-lying property?
Yes, ma'am, we've done a wetland
And
study.
it may flood the neighborhood. Okay, I just wanted to make sure before I cast my vote
Okay.
that nothing was done on the property. That's what I wanted
No,
to make
ma'am.
sure
Yes,
of.
ma'am.
Okay,
You're right.
thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Any other questions while I'm up here?
How long have you owned that property?
I've owned that property approximately 3 years. And basically during the 3 years, all we've done is study the property. We started off with James Falgood, the former mayor, former city council members, Earls and Associates, quality engineers, southeastern engineers. Before we even started thinking about what are we going to do with this property as far as development, the first thing we wanted to do was see how we could improve drainage in the area. That's what we did. Back when I came up to planning and zoning, I was surprised that they asked me, what is your development? Show your development plans. And my answer to planning and zoning is, we're just trying to figure out drainage here before we start any kind of development plans. So that's all we did was study.
Okay, but nothing has been done?
No, ma'am.
Okay, that's what I wanted to make sure
Okay, thank
before I
you.
vote.
I have another question. If this property is annexed into the city, the infrastructure, will you absorb the cost to tie into our infrastructure?
Would you repeat?
So if this property is annexed into the city, would you absorb the cost to tie into the city infrastructure?
To tie it into the city?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you're saying yes, why was it done before? Okay,
Because once you plan a development with the engineers and the city engineers, you are not allowed to move forward with that until that happens. It's a lot of engineering. I would imagine it'll take about 2 years of engineering work before we can even consider moving forward with any kind of dirt work or dozers on the site. A minimum of 2 years though.
so you was aware that was parish property when you bought it? It
Yes,
was not
ma'am.
in the city limit?
That's correct.
And knowing that, you know that you wanted to come through the city,
Yes, ma'am.
which would be a burden on the city, because this is going to be additional charge for the city,
Additional charge. I don't think this is gonna be a burden for the
where you have to have water and sewage.
But
The basic.
I'm providing that, ma'am.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. If you're providing it, why wasn't all of this in the plan before with the
has-
drainage and
it's-
everything?
It has been in the plan, but you don't do it until you come up with a formal approval of a formal project, and it goes through city engineers, parish engineers, our engineers, and you can't start construction on any of that until you get all of those approvals. And those approvals, I've been doing this up for almost 50 years, and those approvals usually take 2 to 3 years. And I don't want to get slapped with a fine or get in trouble by starting prematurely.
I understand that. Would it be in parish property, you would have to go through the parish first, then come through the city. Did you go through the parish?
I'm not obligated to go to the parish. Joe Robert, who spoke for the development earlier, is my parish councilman for this piece of property. And Joe Robert recommended that we come to the city.
Okay, but it's that property is parish property. It has to be annexed into the city. And in order to be annexed into the city, we have to approve it. And my main concern is the drainage issue because of the flooding issue for that neighboring subdivision.
You and I are on the same page.
And I don't want to make a decision that's going to hurt the community.
Well-
Because the community has spoken on this this is about the fourth time.
Exactly.
And they came out in full force against it. So,
We are going to improve the drainage in the area.
okay, again, I asked you, what's the drainage done? Because my main concern is that your word is good, but doing and done is two different things. If you can understand me.
Yes. Once we start a project, we will be compelled by the city and the parish and the authorities
Okay.
to do it. And
They won't be able to move forward without all the approval from y'all going through.
I understand that. I understand that.
But we're here to improve the drainage in the area.
Which could have been approved before you came before the council. That's the point I'm trying to get.
I don't know if you want to try to answer.
I mean, you have to go through the approval process. There's several steps that has to be done, submitted to planning and zoning, submitted through drainage, submitted to.
All right, gentlemen, y'all want to go ahead and call the vote?
Yes, sir.
All right. Do I have a motion and a second?
It's a final vote.
No, final vote.
Roll call vote, Councilwoman Maynard,
Yes.
Councilman Williams,
Yes.
Councilman Boudreaux,
Yes.
Councilwoman Cynthia Gray James,
No, I stand with the community.
Councilman Turner.
No.
Okay, number 13. DPW report.
Good evening, all. First, I'm gonna start with the drainage and streets. They're picking up litter and trash, cutting grass and weeding, patching potholes, straightening up signs. They finished building some catch basins on North Grind, taking care of small miscellaneous drainage work orders, cleaned up their trucks and their equipment, and they're delivering dirt, and they dug some ditches out on North Roscoe. Utility department, they're repairing water leaks all over the city, installing water and gas meters. They got a lot of LA1 call tickets coming in. They flushing dead end mains and all brown water calls coming in. We got a good report once again from TMB on our water wells and water towers. They are checking the water wells and taking water samples 7 days a week. They clean up their trucks and their equipment. And we got a good report from DHH for the first round of samples for the month of June. Building and grounds and recreation, cutting grass and weed eating, cleaning bathrooms and picking up litter at the parks. They cutting the baseball fields and keeping them ready for the games. They took down the flags from the Memorial Day. They hung up the new screens at the amphitheater. They cleaned up the shop and they cleaned up all the tools and equipment and trucks. And they cleaned fountains at the spray park. The sewer department, checking the lift stations and generators. They also have a lot of LA1 call tickets coming in, keeping the trucks clean, equipment clean. They got all the grease out of the ponds at the wastewater plant. They had the fuel tanks filled up, the water, the gas, and the diesel pumps at the wastewater station for the storms and stuff that's coming in this year. And they greased the bar screens at the headworks at the wastewater plant. And they pulled 2 pumps at lift station 26 and 38, and both of those on East Bayou Northeast. The parish opened up the Toby Street Bridge on May 29, 2025, and the guys picked up 124 bags of litter. Any more questions? Also, I want to let the citizens know of Gonzales that we have a great workforce of dedicated and employees here, and I just want to let y'all know that, men and women.
Thank you, sir. Number 14, motion to adjourn.
Motion. I'll second it.
All right.